After making the Sonic Forces video, a lot of comments told me that playing an actual good Sonic game would completely change my mind about Sonic Forces, and while I still think it's a fine game, it's a huge step backwards from Sonic Generation and, well, any good Sonic game. But despite this, I actually just played Sonic Lost Worlds recently and really enjoyed the game and think that it's criminally underrated. So of course, this is a big old can of worms to unpack, so let me just give you all a summary of what this game is about before anything else. Eggman is doing something evil, I guess, so Sonic and the homie Tails are going after him in their signature plane. Sonic is just about to save some innocent woodland creatures when he misses and ends up crash landing onto a mysterious planet, or in other words, a lost world. It later turns out this isn't just any old mysterious planet, but one that Eggman has enslaved. Yeah, you heard that right. There are these creatures on the planet called Zeddy. Eggman managed to get a hold of some kind of magic conch shell that gives him the power to control their race and make them attack Sonic. Sonic ends up running up on all of them and kicking the shell far into the distance, resulting in the Zeddy revolting against both Eggman and Sonic. Eggman, Sonic, and Tails all get away, and Eggman says they all have to work together because one of the machines the Zeddy got a hold of is used to take all the energy out of the universe, and if that doesn't sound bad enough, it's also an unstable machine. Tails is like, yo Sonic, I have a 20 million IQ by the way, so like, just let me do it, forget about Eggman. And Eggman's like, no, it's my machine, I'm the one who knows how to do it. So of course Sonic plays it safe and is like, it's Eggman's machine, let's just let Eggman do it, you know it's his. So the quest for this game is to make it to the Zeddy leader and take him down to get Eggman to power off the universal energy sucking machine. I'm sure that'll go just great. The reason I bring this up though is because the story is probably the #1 complaint I've seen about the entire game, which I find ridiculous because if you're asking me, that's the least important part. And you are asking me, because this is my channel. Of course, the complaints are more toward how bland it is or towards certain quotes more than the entire story as a whole, but considering you can skip every single cutscene if you really hate the story, I just feel like that in itself can't ruin this game. Granted, the bad guys are pretty generically designed with all of their quote-unquote personalities being immediately obvious from just how they look, but I guess the colors look pretty good at the very least. The bosses are this crazy guy, this fat guy, this old sensei guy, this girl, this emo guy, and the leader of the bunch who shows up in other Sonic games. The emo guy actually has some pretty funny quotes, but maybe they're only funny because they're cringe, but I mean, hey, I laughed either way, so I mean, I'd count that as a win for Sonic Lost World.
Maybe all the enemies and death traps will finish Sonic, maybe they won't. Does it really matter in the cosmic scheme of things? We're all gonna die eventually.
But as we all know around these parts of YouTube, we don't care about the dang story, we just want to see how the game plays! You know, because it's a video game! One of the things that surprised me the most in this entire game was how smooth and polished the controls are. A lot of times when a Sonic game is considered to be bad, it seems that either the controls are horribly messed up or the momentum is horribly messed up. Or just the whole game doesn't work, but that's an entirely different issue. But the controls feel extremely crisp even when compared to Sonic Generations, which should be the gold Sonic standard. Not only did turning while running actually feel decent with Sonic going where I expected him to, and not only did the jumping feel more reliable than even at some points during Generations, but there was also a lot of new controls and abilities for Sonic in this game that completely change how the game plays. One of the downsides of this is that the game is a little bit slower. Sonic Lost World is interesting because it's a 3D platformer, but not in the same way the Boost Sonic games are. You can backtrack or go through multiple paths, and you need precision for this, so Sega decided to add a sprint button to this game, which is just like, I don't know, that feels weird. Surprisingly, it doesn't feel that bad to use, and it's not really annoying at all, so unfortunately, I cannot complain about there being a sprint button in a Sonic game, which again feels horribly weird. To counter for this though, Sonic has much more mobility not only on the ground, but also in the air with a double jump. Now, this isn't a LEGO Star Wars Jedi double jump by any means, but it's an extra boost of momentum and a few seconds in the air, so it'll come in handy a ton. There is also wall running and wall jumping, which are kinda related since you have to start wall jumping by wall running. Whenever Sonic is sprinting and jumps into a wall, he can directly run up the wall for a little bit, and if you jump onto an adjacent wall before he starts falling down, then you will start to wall jump. Since Sonic is all about going fast, this is jarring and really different from the other Sonic games, especially considering the game encourages you to slow down further by making the last level of every zone locked until you get a certain amount of animals. This isn't that bad of course, but it is a little bit annoying and once again discourages you from speeding through the levels like Sonic normally would. The thing is though, the levels in Sonic Lost World are still fun. They still have some fast-paced action stuff that's really fun to play as Sonic, along with a lot of cool parkouring sections that as far as I'm aware, no other Sonic game has to offer. I do understand some of the people that at the very least prefer most of Sonic's other games to this just because of how different it is, but to be honest, I legitimately enjoyed the game a lot more than I thought I would, but I do think it should be said that I played the game on Steam on my computer as opposed to on the Wii U, though somehow that didn't stop the objects in this game from clipping in and out of my vision, which is just annoying and weird and ugly. The Sonic Colors dudes are also back in this game, but they seem really gimmicky, and honestly I didn't really enjoy using them at all that much. The drill power-up was probably my favorite one, as it made sense to use and brought in a fresh section of gameplay, but the other stuff either feels like a chore or just weird. The music notes one is the worst one, because not only does it feel like you can just cheese it every single time by spamming, but sometimes my dang music note just gets turned around for seemingly no reason and I plummet into an abyss. Speaking of plummeting into abysses, a lot of people say this game is way too hard, but those guys are babies. The game is fairly difficult, but in a way that a game should be. I can have a lot of trouble in a level the first time I play it, but if I'm able to almost flawlessly complete it once I finish it the first time, then I think that means there's no way the level is too hard. Also, every time the game felt hard, not only did it make sense why it was hard, being at the end of a level or something, but also the game gives you a ton of lives throughout all the stages, on top of there being hundreds of rings in every level, so extra lives are far from being rare. Maybe this is just a personal thing, but real talk, I think anyone complaining about the story of a kid's game or just that it's way too hard is a baby, or worse, a Yoshi main. Now that we've taken a look at the admittedly strange but fun gameplay of Sonic Lost World, let's take a look at some of the levels in which the aforementioned gameplay consists in. The first level, of course, is the homie Green Hill Zone like every other Sonic game. Wait, it's called Windy Hill Zone in this game actually. I guess because it's in the Lost World, but like, wait, why did they never give us any more information about this stupid Lost World? Anyway, the first level is a pretty good starting level, being really fun and also showing off both 2D and 3D Sonic gameplay. Unlike in most Sonic games, I actually do prefer the 3D gameplay in Lost World, not because the 2D gameplay is bad or anything, but just because the 3D gameplay is so fun and well done in my opinion. After Green Hill Zone, you go to the Desert Ruins, which feel like any desert Sonic level would, I guess. But the cool part is that it's preceded by Desert Land. Obviously this is a funny pun, but it's also a really fun level, which is just the cherry on top. Zone 3 is Tropical Coast Zone, but it feels kinda generic if I'm being honest, especially in terms of how it looks, but despite that, it is really fun to play, which is the most important thing. Frozen Factory is also your typical Sonic Ice World, except weirdly you cannot double jump when you jump off of ice, which did mess me up a few times, but we moving. There's also this Rolling Snowball level that looks like it would be a fun Crash Bandicoot level, but unfortunately it's just a kinda boring Sonic the Hedgehog level. The best part of the Winterland though is the Casino level, which not only looks really good and a blast to play, but it also features a Sonic Spinball reference. At least technically, because it's Sonic Pinball. Silent Forest is the next zone, and while I did really enjoy it, I feel like SBO really needed to make an appearance in this level for it to really be sold to me. I do not care if it makes zero sense at all story-wise, we all know that it would be cool and epic to see. Sky Road was again fun to play, but the design of how the level looked was really disappointing. There were some clouds to jump on from time to time, so it wasn't entirely just Green Hill Zone but higher in the air, but like, it really felt like Green Hill Zone but just higher in the air. If this stage had some glass floors or maybe even more clouds and sky elements designed into the actual level, then this stage would not only be more memorable, but also straight up better. The final zone is Lava Mountain, which is kinda short content-wise due to the first level being a boss rush. The second level is still really fun, but the third level has the only difficult boss in the entire game. The main alien dude turns giant, and the game does a horrible job at telling you this, but you have to stomp on these platforms so they hit the dude and kill him. I had to look this up online because I got stuck here with literally nothing telling me what to do. But after that level, Eggman comes back with a big old giant robot and tries to take you out to one last time before the game ends. And then the game ends. Before you ask, no, their credits were not skippable, but I'm sure you could tell this game is a mixed bag of both good and bad things. But with that being said, what should we take away from all this? Well, number one, if you do hate this game, that's totally fine. I'll disagree with you, of course, but that's totally fine too. I do tend to disagree with people from time to time, and the world is still rotating. The reason for that, though, is that there are some legitimately bad things in this game. Like I was talking about earlier, I think the actual worst part in the entire game is the fact that there are several times it is more than unclear what to do. Not only is there the moment I mentioned earlier, but in another boss fight where you have to knock the main alien off a ledge, you have to sit and wait for your auto-lock attack to charge up for a few seconds, which not only isn't communicated to you, but never needs to happen at any other point in the entire game, along with not even being in any other Sonic game. So there's this new mechanic that you not only need to use once in the entire game against a random boss, but the game doesn't even tell you how to use it, nor would you realistically figure it out. This, of course, is really annoying, but we can't just let things that frustrate us for only a few minutes ruin the entire game. The majority of the time I was playing Sonic Lost World, I was enjoying myself and having a good time. Despite the silly and goofy storyline and the unoriginal characters, at the end of the day, it's still a Sonic game where you try to beat these intricate levels as fast as possible, and as long as most of the levels are well designed, then the game is good with me. Of course, this doesn't excuse everything wrong with the game, but if you're asking me, any game that's fun for 90% of the time can have almost anything they want for the other 10%. So that's Sonic Lost World. If you've never played the game, I highly recommend you go check it out, or at the very least wait until it's on sale and then go check it out. Or don't, because I don't care.
Drop top minivan with the floor. Kenny Payne wet, hover bubble gum.